Good evening, YouTube. We are back in the reloading room, and boy, I'm glad. It's been a tough week, and I'm sure everybody's out there watching with all their coronavirus supplies already laid in. We got the disinfectant, we got the hand sanitizer, we got the dust mask, and we have plenty of toilet paper because let's face it, the flu always causes a run on toilet paper. I don't have any idea what the next random household item will be that the masses will pick that we need to hoard in vast amounts. I think it's spatulas. I mean, because that makes about as much sense as anything. So I would encourage you, as soon as you finish watching this video, run out, get a bunch of spatulas, because you wouldn't want to be in the middle of an apocalypse without a damn spatula. All right, we're gonna get down to business. Get that stuff out of the way. Last time we were together, we cleaned up some brass, cleaned out the primer pockets, kind of as our final act, and now we're gonna get down to what I saw one YouTuber describe as the most difficult part of reloading. I don't find it to be that way. I don't think it's very difficult at all. There are many other aspects that are more difficult, and frankly, for me, the more difficult they are, the more entertaining and more fun. We're gonna take our shell holder, put it back in the press. I will confess I did get ahead on the process just because I did have some time where I wasn't filming, and I got 25 pieces ready to put powder in. Got them all primed, but we won't jump too far ahead. These are deprimed. They've been cleaned. We're gonna put that back in the shell holder. I would advise, if you do have the RCB kit, I can't speak for any other kit because, as you know, this is the only one I've got. Buy an extra shell holder for the caliber that you're going to do a lot of, especially if you're going to be using a hand primer kit like mine. As the video goes on, or maybe in the next video, you'll see why that is. Once you get the shell holder back in the press, again, same process. Run the ram all the way up. Run the die down till they just kiss. Trust me, that's kissing because I've got everything already locked down. I've been doing this a little bit now. But then the next part that's a little more important is getting the shell, the case, if you will. Run the ram up, and then you got to run the down to this middle portion, which is the flaring portion of the die. Just starts to make contact with your shell casing. I'm gonna lock that down right there and see how it looks. What we're looking for is this shell as it is. Let's do one that hasn't touched. Take a bullet, because this is a straight wall case and it's been fired in a gun. This bullet will not fit in there comfortably. So we'll take a shell, we'll run the ram up, and we can feel, some of this is feel. You can feel the inner portion of the die, the flaring member of the die, just start to bump that case. And it doesn't take a tremendous amount of flaring, but that's not going to be quite enough. So we'll keep that lock nut out of the way for a minute. Just turn it maybe half turn, quarter turn at a time. Sometimes you can see it, most times you can't. That's still not enough. They kiss, but it won't quite open up quite enough. So we're going to put another 3/8 turn on it, run the ram. And it's a bit of a process at that point. You really just got to kind of continue to work it till you're at a good height, or depth in this case, I suppose. I could feel that move a little bit. Let's see if the bullet will seat. Not quite, but you can actually see the mouth of the case. Probably can on my camera phone. Maybe one day soon we'll get a camera that'll do this a little more justice, and can just continue to turn that 1/4 to 3/8 of a turn. Looking for that mouth to open up just enough on that case to accept that bullet. Now, those guys that reload lead bullets, these are all jacketed bullets, they have to take a little more precaution than I do, because it's very necessary. There we go. It's very necessary that that case mouth be flared enough that they don't shave lead off their bullet. That is so close, but we're not quite there. We're going to give it another half turn. Probably should mark that with some white paint. Kind of keep up with where it's at, but I hadn't done that yet. Okay, we can really feel some movement there. There we go. That's what we're looking for. It's so close right there. I really think we're close enough that maybe 1/4 turn more. Lock that nut down. We'll call that good. You can kind of feel it over cam a little bit. I've heard other people call it, but you can definitely feel the resistance. Now the bullet ought to seat. We can keep it relatively straight when we set it in the press, and the press will do the rest. Okay, from there, we got that piece of brass already flared. We're going to turn it in a different direction just so I can keep up with it in the loading block. And we'll run a few more pieces. I always check them. I don't load enough that checking every one is imperative. These are all previously fired cases. And if they were rifle cases, I would need to really be diligent about checking the length of the case. But in this case, it's not quite so imperative, but just because the case length's not going to grow that much. These are some pretty mild powder charges we're running, and straight wall case can't grow quite as much as a bottleneck case. But you can see how this is going. Once you get the die set, there's really nothing to it. It only takes a little time to get the die set the way you need it, to flare that mouth just the way you like it. I guess probably some of that's preference, but I like for the bullet to sit in there enough that when it goes into press later on, we won't have any issues with the bullet seating correctly. We will have to measure a lot more closely. Take a couple more measurements, and for me, that's the fascinating part. You know, really getting down to those few thousandths of an inch. And we could do that even now, measuring these case lengths, but I haven't found any in the first few that made it be even curious that they might be over SAAMI maximum. Now that one didn't fight me so much. So I don't know what happened during the firing or processing up to this point that kept that one from constricting down, but it moved. There we go. All right, there's 10 of those. So that's a process that once you get the die set, really nothing to it. One thing I want to stop and say thank you to everybody that's watched any of the previous videos, who've liked, subscribed, commented. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's been pretty gratifying. You know, I'm not really sure why anybody would really want to watch a hillbilly learn to reload on camera, but some of you have, and I appreciate it. And if you do get any value out of it, or if it's helping you try to make a decision about reloading, or if it's just entertainment value, do reach down there and hit that like button, subscribe. If it does have even more value than that, I know sharing's a little bit more of a hassle, but like and subscribe if you can. It's a lot of fun for me to see other people getting involved in the hobby. And the original premise for the show was really all about self-preparedness. And this virus kind of brings all that to light. I don't think it's the I don't think it's the apocalyptic event that everybody would pretend it to be, but it draws into focus one thing, and that is if you can't do it for yourself, there's a good chance nobody's going to do it for you. I mean, we've got runs on the most ridiculous things in the world, and reloading gives you the opportunity to buy some components at very reasonable prices, store them in the event that you need them. I hope that we never need our firearms for anything other than recreation, but that's of course not what the Second Amendment's about. And being prepared's exactly the way our forefathers believed this country should be founded. They weren't looking for a handout when they came here, and they damn sure weren't looking for a handout when the 57 signed on the dotted line of the Declaration, because that was a significant event, and it put all their lives and fortunes at jeopardy. And I don't believe this is a nanny state. I still don't believe that. I never will. I don't believe that the vast majority of us are looking for a handout, and I know I certainly am not. So if that's the case, maybe reloading's for you, because it does give you an opportunity to be a little more independent, be a little more, well, it just allows you to not need the nanny state, somebody governing you, telling you how many rounds you can own, telling you how many, what kind of capacity your magazines can have. It makes, this is a little bit of America right here. It allows you to take care of yourself, take care of your family, and I hope somebody else is getting enough out of it that maybe they want to try it. Again, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, and we'll see you very, very soon.